I noticed that my indicator light for the temperature went on. We pulled over and we saw there was a radiator leak spew.
We're hoping that means maybe a tube is just kind of jostled loose.
So the hole is not just a little pinprick, it must be way bigger in the radiator. Saddle up!
Beyond the stars, out where the sun sets, we'll find the light, and we'll keep it our secret. Oh, anywhere you wanna go.
Hi guys, and welcome to Go Roughly Around the World. We're riding around the world with our German Shepherd, Moxie, on the back of my motorcycle.
Not in a sidecar or trailer.
Yeah. To raise $100,000 for the nonprofit Girl Up. In season 1, we started in Guatemala, which is where we were living for the past 6 years, and then we made our way all the way up to the Arctic Ocean. Now in season 2, we're on our way down south to the Antarctic.
So in the last episode, we went to Overland Expo Mountain West. And really, we met a star-studded cast of overlanding heroes. It was fantastic. From there, we continued on direction Baja California, but we stopped in Telluride, or in the hills, the mountains above Telluride, Colorado, because we were looking for something that had sort of some historical significance for us.
So in Telluride is where we met up after we had met each other in South Sudan in 2012, and that's where we were working as aid workers. We were quitting our jobs around the same time. We got together that last week we were there. It was
that kind of a thing. Yeah.
And then Greg went back to LA, I went back to Toronto, but then we said we wanted to meet up somewhere.
So I did some geometry and figured out the equidistant point between Toronto and Los Angeles.
No, Greg asked me if I wanted to go to the cabin and mountains or if I wanted to go to the beach. And then
it was kind of a test because I'm a mountains, cabin, firewood kind of guy, not the beach.
So we picked this place in Telluride and it was called The Love Nest. So we rented it for the week and we hung out, and then that's when we decided we were going to move together to Liberia in West Africa.
I had a job there, and that was really the beginning of us, which would later become Go Roughly. Mm-hmm. So we were searching for the Love Nest. And struggling to find it.
Yeah, and like in a previous episode you saw, we were struggling to find the place where we actually got married in Santa Barbara.
A lot of struggles throughout Go Roughly. Only some of them are geographical.
Yes.
We did ultimately find it. Yeah. Wasn't maybe everything that it was 10 years ago. Not everything ages well. So after that, we continued, and along the way ran into some more misadventures, this time in the form of a big-time breakdown. Stick around.
Let's go. It's time to go, go, go. It's time to go, go, go. Let's go. It's time to go, go, go. Let's go.
The Love Nest, 10 years on, it was pretty run down, but we really had hopes, I think, that there were going to be some lovebirds there. Maybe a retired couple that, you know, were living there or had gone back there for their 30th or 50th or 300th. So I guess not all love stories are fairy tales.
We let Moxie down and run around a little bit here on this BLM land. We're the only ones here. Stay. Stay. Moxie. And I tried calling her and she didn't come back, and then I found her and she has hurt her paw. She probably got it stabbed by like a branch or something, and now it's bleeding a little bit, but she was holding it up for a little bit, but now she seems to be fine. She's such a brute. But we are going to clean it out, make sure there's nothing in it, put some antibiotic stuff, wrap it, and she'll be good to go. The other thing I'm seeing on my dog is that she has run through a bunch of burrs, like big burrs, not like those small ones. She's got these big ass pieces now that I'm probably gonna have to cut out. I'm gonna try and do it gently with my hand. If I can't, then I'll try with my Furminator brush. If not, then we're cutting them out. It's an early morning. It's like almost 5 o'clock right now, and it is cold. It's probably like 5 degrees out. We're on BLM land, but they do have toilets. The best place where it's actually warm are the bathrooms. So that was nice to be able to just hang out there a little bit and get warm. And we're hoping to make it to Salt Lake in good time.
When you leave early, every minute that the sun is not up, is almost like a stolen moment, just another mile you can get before sort of the day arrives and the clock really starts ticking. We've arrived in Moab in Utah, and it's about 7:30, which means we are doing great for time.
Hi. I don't know if she'll eat it. You can try. This is Moxie.
Hi, Moxie. What do you think? No.
Yeah. She's like a true meat eater. She's one of those, like, if it's not jerky, then she's not going to eat it. Thank you, though.
There are moments to have a giggle in sometimes the most unexpected places, like a Chevron bathroom.
We are not home free with Luna Laguna.
We have potentially a big problem.
So I noticed when we were riding on the freeway, it's like so hot right now. We're just 30 miles south of Salt Lake City. It's probably 38 degrees out. It's hot, and it was 3 o'clock when this happened. And I noticed that my indicator light for the temperature went on. So I was, it went on for just a little bit while we were on the freeway. I was doing 75, 80 miles. And then it went on, but then it turned off. So I was like, okay, that's fine. Then we thought maybe it was a faulty switch or something like that. But then we said, okay, if it comes on again, we got to pull over. Came on again while we were in traffic. And then we pulled over at the Starbucks. No, we pulled over at the Subway. At the Subway, we pulled over, and we saw there was a radiator leak spew.
Spewed all over the side of the bike, the right side of the bike, even though the reservoir is on the left side. We're hoping that means maybe a tube is just kind of jostled loose, and it'll be as simple as putting it back in place and clamping it down. What are the chances? I guess only the gods know.
And now we have pinpointed the location of the leak. At least we know that it's coming out on the edge. There's a good chance that there's a hole somewhere in my radiator. We just called BMW in Ventura, where Doug works, where he is the one who's been our real champion and really helped us out. He wasn't there, but one of his buddies answered the phone and told us that the cost of a new radiator is $800. It's still 38 degrees, but now we are standing in the shade, at least, behind the Chevron. The good thing is that Moxie gets to hang out in the shade. She's got some ice water with her, so she's nice and calm. She's been a real trooper in this heat. I've got Moxie Thumper sitting in LA, which is where we're supposed to be going, and that radiator is used, but it was working. But I have nobody in LA who can remove it for me and then send it to me, and who knows how long that's all going to take. We were supposed to be in Baja on the 6th, which is Tuesday. Today is Friday. It's the holiday long weekend. I just don't see it all happening.
I have purchased a stop leak for aluminum radiators, which my best understanding is that the BMW is an aluminum radiator.
We have no idea really where exactly that hole is, and we're hoping it's just a little pinpointy hole that this is going to fill up that space, but it's going to be a test, and if it doesn't work, well then it doesn't fucking work.
We got to see what we can do. I mean, this is kind of a patch and go kind of situation.
To support the Go Ruffly Around the World adventure, visit GoRuffly.com to purchase outdoor gear for you and your dog. It's ethically made, looks amazing, and holds up to all the abuse that Moxie gives it during our adventures. Use coupon code GoRuffly20 for 20% off your purchase. Thanks so much, and now back to the adventure. So the hole is not just a little pinprick, it must be way bigger in the radiator. So I thought, well, wait, Bunk-a-Biker also has people who like offer their garages and tools and things like that if you need to work on your bike. And I had seen that there were some people who were saying, like, if you needed to haul your bike, if your bike breaks down, you could call. So I found somebody. And I messaged him and I told him that I was stranded and that I needed help, and I asked if he happened to be available this holiday weekend on a Friday at like 8:30 to haul my bike. And he said, yeah. I couldn't believe it. I was so surprised. But then he called me right after. He messaged me back and he said, but wait, I don't have the trailer right here. I had to haul my brother and it's at his house, which is like 40 miles away. So he had to do like 40 miles out to his brother's house to get the trailer. Now he's doing 60 miles back to pick us up, and then we're gonna do the last 20 miles, 30 miles north to get to the BMW. Jeff, my knight in shining armor, has arrived with this lovely trailer, like perfect for bikes. Like you just ride it up there, it's got the nice groove in there, tie it down, and it's good to go. And this is what is going to get us to the BMW so that I can get a new radiator so that we can actually finish the around the world trip. The women in Guatemala, they wanted to do something as well. And so what they did is they created bracelets that have our Roughly sign on it. And we are giving them out to people that we meet along the way that have helped us out and done something great. You don't have to wear it. It is a memento, but I'd like to give you one.
Well, thank you very much.
No, you're very
I'd like to get a
welcome.
picture with you if you don't
That
mind.
would be great.
Sounds good.
Hey, Cody.
Cody, meet Jeff,
Our knight in shining armor.
They've just arrived at my dad's house. A meeting coming together is occurring.
It's occurring.
And hopefully
Successful.
nice words are exchanged.
Okay, well, we'll get it done, and I'll call you if I have any more questions.
No, thank you so much.
Thanks,
You got
Chris.
it, guys. Talk in a bit.
Have a good
Thank
one.
you.
So we are filming all the time, cameras are rolling, and somehow we get to review the footage and find that we didn't explain
Who Hollywood was? Yeah.
So Chris is a friend of Cody's. Cody's you'll know from previous episodes. We met him at the Touratech rally episodes ago. We met him again with his wife in Banff and rode together episodes ago. Like 2 episodes ago, we met him again as we went through Salt Lake City and went camping and rode along with DJ, his Husky, on his Husqvarna motorcycle. So Cody's a known entity. Chris, aka Hollywood, aka Negan, because he looks a little bit like Negan from Walking Dead, and he lives in Hollywood area,
Yes.
and Negan is a Hollywood character. So Hollywood is a friend of Cody's, living in Hollywood. My dad lives in North Hollywood,
And that's where Moxie Thumper, my parts bike, was.
Moxie Thumper was the bike that Jess started the trip in from Guatemala and basically had way more damage to her and repairs that were needed than was sort of worth paying.
So she became my parts bike, and it was sitting in the carport of Greg's dad's garage area.
And thus is becoming a radiator donor.
To Luna Laguna.
Continue.
That's the only thing. That got a little banged up, but I don't think that's going to cause a problem. That hose will go on all the way.
Oh, I see. Uh-huh.
It looks like it's just on the top, so I think
That that hose is gonna go over it enough to where you won't have an issue.
Okay.
okay.
Yep.
We're gonna pack up a bunch of unnecessary parts, but here it is. She's looking pretty good, okay?
Awesome. Yeah. And I'll text you the address to send it to. We'll send it direct to the BMW.
Okay, guys, that's it. We'll say goodbye.
Thank you. We really appreciate it.
My pleasure. Have a great one.
You too.
Thank you. Thanks, Chris.
Today is the day that my radiator from LA should arrive at 10:30. It's now close to 10 o'clock. We're going over there. We're going to pick up my bike. We're going to flush out the radiator. By the time we're done with that, the new one should have arrived. Not new one, but the old one, new one to me now. And then we're going to put it in. We're going to try it out. And then hopefully all goes well. We come back to Cody's place, we pack up, and then we will do an evening ride when it gets nice and cool. So fingers crossed that that radiator works. If not, then we're sort of back to square one.
He had it out like within 15-20 minutes, like pit crew style, mid-race type of change out. But let's be very clear that removal is much faster than installation. Jess is headed over on my bike to a Target, I guess. We need distilled water to flush out her old radiator, her coolant system. I see a box sitting there on the dash, and it is at least radiator size.
So we got our distilled water. I got the little the roasting pan for our catchment basin, and now we're ready to go.
We had it in idle here for about 5 minutes with the fan going, and the light did turn on, meaning the temperature warning light turned on.
From what I can tell, you guys run quite trick. Without that tool, you won't be able to get the job done perfectly the way it should be, but you don't.
No light.
After they swapped the radiator out, put new coolant in it, and flushed all the gunk out, we did 2 fan heat cycles on the motorcycle. That tells us that the bike is getting up to operating temperature, cooling itself off, then getting back up to operating temperature, and then cooling itself off again, allowing us, allowing the motorcycle to cool itself down. So bike's working, thermostat's working, everything in the cooling system's working on the motorcycle, so it's good to go.
You guys are in like what to most of us is a motorcycle mecca of Utah. So what the heck are you guys doing going to Idaho?
Yeah.
We get tired of riding these amazing roads, so we got to get out somewhere where it's a little bit different. We get tired of these roads.
Smallest in the world. Between 2 huskies and a visiting German shepherd, it's been a handful the last few days. And Cody and Amber have been amazingly patient.
It is Wednesday, about 6:30 p.m. and GoRUFFLY is about to go. Leaving the Hacienda with 2 bikes. And it's still like 100 degrees. It is hot.
We hit the road at 6 in the evening, and by about 8:30 or so, it was really time to start shutting things down. So sometimes the best you can manage is to leave. We had an amazing time with Cody and Amber, and they were incredibly hospitable. And then in addition, it was a really long day. It started at 6 in the morning with a interview for Adventure Rider Radio, and then dealing with the radiator, getting an episode up, and then packing up. And also it was well over 100 degrees.
Run for your life.
Cody told us about this campsite, which was supposed to be about 6 miles in the dirt, and by then it was 9:30. Moxie.
We didn't actually make it to the campsite, but the whole road here I think is in BLM or National Forest, so there's a lot of dispersed options here.
For your life.
So tomorrow's going to be a real early one so that we can get some distance on the road before the sun comes out and really heats things up.
Run for your life.
Thanks so much for watching, guys. So GoRUFFLY Around the World, it's a $100,000 fundraiser for the nonprofit Girl Up. We've raised close to $14,000 now, and I want to say thank you to everybody who has donated. If you haven't donated, please go on over to GoRuffly.com. There's a Donate Now button. All of the proceeds go all to Girl Up. We don't see any of it, and it's 100% tax deductible in the US. So thank you to everybody who has donated. If you want to dive deeper into the adventure with us, then head on over to Patreon. That's where we share our tips and tricks, and we do behind the scenes for each episode. In this week's behind the scenes, we're going to be talking a little bit more about my radiator problem and talking about how breakdowns factor into adventure and what that really means. So you're going to want to go and check that out. Don't forget to subscribe to us here on YouTube and at GoRUFFLY for Facebook, Instagram, and TikTok. Thanks so much, and we'll see you on over on Patreon.
1, 2, 3, 4.
Oh, look at my hair.
We're not supposed to be here.
Moxie.
Come.
And it is guarded by U.S. Marines, so who
That's
knows?
what the sign says anyway.
This was just a weekend or a week-long trip when we came.
Week. Devilish. What's the word? I'm B-rolling you here. Make it look good. Make it look like you know what you're doing. Jess just called. Major crisis underway. Target is all out of distilled water. There's been a run on distilled water.
What?
She's going over to the Walmart. Pop quiz. Which is the old one and which is the new one? Test status inconclusive. So basically we did this test without knowing what the parameters were. Thus we don't know what to take from the results of the test. She's been clanking her tin mug against the bars here just like a prisoner. I guess, you know, not all fairy tales sort of are fairy tales, or maybe